wears that badge as he was watching last night on bended knee as the San Francisco Gigantes, or Gigante as we say, were taking knees. And he was watching baseball, Oakland A's and San Francisco Giants. The great Aubrey Huff. How are you, man?
What's up, Tony? Thanks for having me on, buddy. Yeah, just to correct you there, I didn't watch it. I don't think I was going to watch it anyway, but I did see a post on Twitter that they had done it. I kind of had a feeling it was coming, and that's the world we live in today. It doesn't mean we have to accept it. Now, you have every right to kneel for the anthem. Go nuts. But I have every right to not watch you.
And that's coming from a guy who played with the team. And I know we had you on earlier in the year when the Giants revoked your invitation to the now, I guess, no longer necessary or virtual celebration of the World Series win of 10 years ago. And I remember you were a little ticked off about that. And it's because of your outspoken views, right? I mean, that's why they didn't invite you. Was there any other reason?
Yeah, so a lot of it from when I was talking to Larry Baer, I had mentioned, was a lot of this my conservative beliefs, my support of Donald Trump, and he hesitated. He paused for a good 5 seconds, and he kind of gave that drawn off, well, that's some of it, but, so a lot of it's my Twitter, but I know a lot of it's my support for Trump, publicly outspoken. But, it was that moment that sometimes even things happen to you that you can use for your advantage. I decided in that moment, man, I never realized how under attack our First Amendment right is until it happened to me. And that's when I was like, you know what? I am done playing nice. And that's why I opened my podcast, so I can start fighting back, have a voice. And, they kind of woke up a sleeping bear. I was happily retired, just hanging out. And then I'm like, you know what? It's time to start speaking out on some of these issues. And there's so many conservative supporters out there of Donald Trump that are sick and tired of being screamed down at, being called a racist. They're just, and if they get canceled, they get fired if they come out and support. So my voice is for those people out there that can't say anything in fear of losing their jobs. That's what I'm doing.
No, I hear you. And again, I'm not openly rooting for Trump. I mean, I look at both sides. I have guests on from both sides of the aisle, and I don't really do a political show. I do a sports show, but I have a lot of fun. But you're absolutely right, though, because even if you're not a Republican, which I'm not, you say something on Twitter, and the intolerant crowd comes out of the woodwork ready to try to destroy your life. I've never seen anything like. Now, Twitter hasn't been around forever, but I've been on it since '09. But it's worse than ever now. You can't even go on there and make a joke. You can't even do a sarcastic tweet and not having people come after you and trying to label you.
They need like a different font for sarcasm, I think. Where people automatically recognize it as sarcasm.
Exactly. Aubrey doesn't do a lot of sarcasm, though. He just straight out comes
I'm talking
right
to you.
Yeah, I actually say on my thing, 50% of my tweets are 100% sarcasm, and they still don't get it, Aubrey. It's an outrage, man.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I mean, this morning, I got a call from a current professional baseball player, and he's in the major leagues. And he said, Aubrey, man, I don't know what to do. At Major League Baseball, he's been told that they're going to have the option of wearing a Black Lives Matter patch on their jersey the remainder of the season. Now, I believe Black lives do matter. I believe all lives matter. But the Black Lives Matter movement in itself is a organization that is trying to destroy the nuclear family. A lot of the things they stand up for, I don't agree with. And so to me, it's such a divisive entity, and it's something I can't back. And so even the player was concerned about not wearing it because he's researched into this Black Lives Matter movement, which is literally a front to fund the Democratic Party. All the donations go to all of the Democratic campaigns. If you look it up, do the research, that's where all the money goes. And so he was really upset about wanting to or having to wear this. He doesn't want to wear one, but he knows if he doesn't, he's going to be labeled a racist.
Yep.
And, shame on Major League Baseball for putting players in this situation. It's absolute nonsense. And, I told him, I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, I wasn't, when I played, I wasn't into politics. I could have cared less. I wasn't a social justice warrior. I just wanted to play baseball. But the game today has become so damn woke. Everybody's got an agenda or a shtick or wants to pump up their social media with all these different things outside of baseball or outside of football. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, and it happens a lot. I mean, that's one of the things that I'm glad about doing this on Sirius and Twitch before that and Twitch now is that we are allowed. You know, Adam Carolla's a friend. You know, he's obviously very conservative. I wouldn't consider myself super conservative or right wing. I'm a centrist. I like to look at both sides, and I don't agree with everything the left does or the right does. But I like to have the opinion. I like to have the ability to continue to say what is on my mind. I don't want to be held back and told, don't say that. How dare you say that? You know what's going to happen. People are going to come after you. I don't say anything that's racist. I don't say anything that's inflammatory. I just speak my mind. Right, Harry?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you and I both root for America.
Exactly. And you can't root for America. I'm a Law and Order guy. What's wrong with being in favor of Law and Order anymore? Not the TV series. That's played out.
Well, that's the war we're in right now. It's literally a war for your First Amendment rights, and that's what they're trying to take away. And, you know, thank goodness they haven't taken our guns, because I think we'd all be in concentration camps right now, it seems like. My goodness. Just the cancel culture has to stop. It just has to stop, because with this whole virus going on around right now, I don't agree with wearing masks outside, walking around in the fresh air down by the ocean with my kids. And so I refuse to wear one. And now if I have to go into a grocery store, the only way I can get in is with a mask. Okay, I'll throw one on, grab some groceries and get out. And here in California, you're not getting into a grocery store without a mask. So you're kind of, it's a forcible
And that's
thing
fine.
there.
You know what? We all do that too. I agree. I do it. You need me to go. But if I'm walking down the street and there's nobody within 100 yards of me, I'm not going to have some strapper down the street yelling at me to put on a mask. I'm not going to do that.
Right. And it's just the scream down, the cancel culture, you know, it's actually where we are in this country. It's actually kind of scary how easily controlled and no fight back that the American people have shown during this pandemic, right? This pandemic. We have a 99.8% survival rate with this thing going on, and people are running around with their heads cut off. Tony, I played Major League Baseball in 2009 with the swine flu. 63 million cases, you know, all these deaths, right? 4 guys in Major League Baseball contracted the H1N1 swine flu at that time. They went home, got better, came back. Nothing shut down. The league didn't shut down. The world didn't shut down. The economy didn't crash. It's unbelievable why we're doing this with this virus as well. It's all, if you connect the dots and you really dig into the research, you can see clearly what's happening. This is an agenda to keep Donald Trump and Joe Biden from debating, trying to get Joe Biden into the presidency, to get Donald Trump out. This virus will be gone after the election.
We hope so. I hope it's gone now. I want it to be gone tomorrow. But the good thing, though, Aubrey Huff, is that sports look like baseball is going to start Thursday night, you know, barring another miracle. Football looks like it's going to get back. And that's all we want as fans. You know that. You want that as a player. But you're right. All of this incendiary other crap is all because of an election. And this stuff only happens every 4 years, it seems. It's amazing how things happen in election years, and the entire country gets all riled up and triggered, and people are yelling at each other and threatening people, trying to shut them down, and all this other crazy stuff. Man, it's just insane.
Well, what kind of, you know, what pisses me off, though, is like our fearless leader, Gavin Newsom, here in California. What a moron. You're shutting down you're shutting down the state again for the second time. It didn't work the first time, apparently, right? So it's the definition of insanity. It didn't work the first time, you do it again, right? I mean, I don't understand his thinking. And Major League Baseball has 4 teams here in California. Mm-hmm. And so how can you say that you're going to shut down public venues and things of this nature and allow 4 teams to play in their stadiums? So the rules, whoever's making all these rules up, it's absolute nonsense. And it drives me absolutely crazy, bro, when people can't reason for themselves. They just blindly follow what the mainstream media tells them to do in their local government. People have lost their reasoning skills and their common sense. I'm not book smart, Tony, but I'm very common sense smart, and I have a pretty good gut feeling about a lot of things. And most of the things that I believe end up eventually coming true. But I have an opinion, and I speak it, and I will not be silenced.
Well, I'm reading, Tony and Aubrey, that a lot of people are going to be moving out of California because of all this craziness and where that state has gone. How long before you moved to Texas?
I would be there right now if I had my way. My ex-wife and I, we split custody of our kids, and she absolutely loves it here in California. She's building a new house on my dime. And so
I know that feeling.
I'm stuck here. Yeah. It's an absolute scam, but hey.
Aubrey Huff, Tony Bruno, Harry Mays here, Miss Robin talking. And obviously I'm getting a lot of people, oh, this is another Fox News segment. No, it's not. The people who say that and always play the Fox News card are the people who want Fox News shut down because they're the only, right-wing network on the air. Meanwhile, 95% of the rest of media is all pretty much in the tank for one party. And if you can't see that, then you're not really thinking level. I'm not rooting for anybody. I don't go out and campaign. I don't give money to politicians. I don't care about that crap. But the whole thing about, oh my God, Aubrey Huff, he's a crazy right-wing loser. He's insane. How do you put him on the air? How do we allow Tony Bruno to say these kinds of things about common sense and our constitutional right to free speech? I mean, it's insane.
Well, it's Fox News even. I mean, I've noticed that they've even started leaning heavily left. I think the only real big conservative voices on that station now are Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson. And is it any coincidence that they're trying to go after these two guys right now, trying to get them out, claiming sexual harassment charges, I think, against Tucker Carlson I was reading? It's so blatantly obvious, and it just trying to cancel everything Republican, everything conservative, and they're winning. And what's really upsetting me is there's not enough people like myself out there speaking out on this or fighting back. Everybody's, most of the right wing guys, they're just sitting around rolling over. At what point do the silent majority of conservatives out there start taking back their businesses, taking back their country? The middle class is being wiped out right now, Tony. Wiped out, especially here in California. It's going to be to a point where it's just rich and poor here in California. There's going to be no middle class whatsoever.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing to me. Again, I'm not in here campaigning for anybody. The election, I can't wait for this election to come and go.
Why can't we have that now?
I agree. Can we move the election up?
Yeah, so we can have a football season.
Yeah, let's get the election out of the way. Let's move it up to August 2nd instead of September 2nd. And then get it out of the way, and then let's get sports back, and let's get back to some assembly of sanity and normal. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm all fired up now. See what happens when I talk. That's why I don't talk to Kurt Schilling. I've known Kurt Schilling forever. He doesn't even follow me on Twitter, and he won't even come on my show because I don't want people to come on here who agree with me. I have people on all the time that don't agree with me politically because I don't really talk about politics on the show. I talk about common sense issues, whether it's sports or people doing stupid stuff, or the NBA in bed with China. These are facts. The fact that so many people are afraid to rip the NBA because they have some sort of a vested interest. They have a podcast. They get paid by a company that has NBA. Even your dog's agreeing with me right now. Even your dog heard NBA, and the dog went off because there are very few people who stand up to the NBA like I do. Even Mark Cuban and the NBA and all this stuff going on in China, they don't even acknowledge its existence. Mark Cuban refuses to say, free Hong Kong. Imagine being that afraid to hurt your business. All you have to do is say free Hong Kong.
Well, look how they slapped down Daryl Morey.
Daryl Morey is persona non grata. They couldn't fire him because it would have really looked bad from the Houston Rockets. This is the kind of stuff that all you need to do is have common sense and look at things for what they are, and a lot of people refuse to do so.
Well, what's going to kill, I think, professional sports more than anything, the folks, social justice warrior athletes out there, ownership even. Look at what happened with the Washington Redskins name change. The owner said just in 2003 he would never change the name of the Washington Redskins. All of a sudden, what does FedEx do? Hey, you know what? If you don't change, we're gonna bounce FedEx Stadium. That's a $205 million hit, Tony. And of course, he's going to change his mind until people start standing for their convictions and their values. We're going to continue to get canceled. And here's what's got to happen. the social justice warrior athletes out there, it's going to get to a point where people are going to stop going. Fans are going to stop watching. The average fan is getting sick and tired of being called a racist from millionaire, entitled, spoiled athletes. We got to hit them in their wallets, because if we don't, then they're just going to keep spewing on this nonsense. If I'm playing Major League Baseball, the last thing I want to do when I get to the field every day is look around, seeing the media come to my locker, wondering if I'm going to need the anthem or not. I'm trying to hit the 2-0 slider and take a pitcher deep. I don't want to worry about the anthem. Nonsense.
Hey, wait, your line
sounds like a big dog.
It is. What kind of dog you got in there, man? It's a big dog.
Hey, hey, Matt. Hey, shut up, Thor. Shut up.
Dog.
Okay.
Mad love to all my dogs down there in SoCal, man. Mad love.
He's got an opinion on this.
Wow.
Where's the dog? Let me see the dog here. We're not doing any dog dedications or live dog dedications either.
Now, his audio was sort of going in and out, so I don't know what's going on with the connection.
I want to see the dog. Is that a U? Wait a minute. You have a U shirt? You have a U shirt on with barbells?
What's that?
The Hurricanes.
You have a U shirt on with barbells on it?
Yeah, man. I'm a U guy.
I know.
University of Miami.
I know. I'm busting your chops, man. And a lot of people say, see what happens to these Miami guys? They go to the University of Miami, and they become crazy.
Well, you know who else went to the University of Miami? Pat the Bat.
Pat the Bat
That's
Barrel.
right.
Did you play with Pat Barrel? Now, he was a little before you, right? Or around the same. Was he around the same time?
No, man. We were teammates from 97, 98, and we ended up, obviously, in San Francisco together, winning the World Series in 2010. So it was a hell of a journey for us two.
Yeah, Pat's I would say, a different kind of guy. Very low-key, but he gets a little wild. Some of the great stories of Pat, and thinking of wearing mask. He was wearing a mask before it was cool.
Oh, yeah, right.
Before it was mandatory, if you know what I mean. That's a little inside baseball. And, of course, the late, great Jerome Brown, who played for the Eagles, defensive lineman. So many great players out of the University of Miami. That's why I had to bust your chop, man. But anyway, I don't want to turn this into a rant. I just wanted to talk baseball and get your take on what's going on in San Francisco and even around the league. I agree. Listen, if people want to kneel. If you're going to wear a mask. And wear a mask when you have to. But all this other stuff where people are playing, snitches and
shamers.
Yeah. Everybody wants to shame somebody. Oh, you tweeted something. What do you mean? Oh, I'm going to tell does your boss know that you're talking like this? Yes, my boss knows I'm talking like this. That's why he hired me. Believable, man.
You know what the only way out of this whole mess is, guys, is if we cancel social media, shut down all cell phone towers, we'd be out of this mess tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Everybody is all about catching somebody on video, bumping up their following. Everybody has a cause or a social justice stance. The minute we stop social media, normal life would proceed.
I agree. Let's shut it down today. I think we should shut it down, except this show, of course, and your podcast. Everything else has to go.
Off the cuff.
Everything else has to go except the only shows that matter.
I'd sacrifice my podcast for the greater good.
Well, as you point out occasionally, you've got a bunch of money in the bank, so you have, as we call it, FU money and F me money, as Adam Carolla would say.
That's what's funny. I was actually on Adam Carolla's show, and we mentioned that. And a lot of people direct message me, and I mean tons of people support every day on my Instagram and my Twitter. You won't believe the amount of people that think like I do and say, thank you so much for what you do. You have FU money. I wish I had the kind of money to speak out the way you do. That's the reason Donald Trump got elected in 2016. There's millions of the silent majority out there that I had no idea really existed until I started really being vocal on Twitter, and they're everywhere. I can't even keep up with all the messages.
Well, little did I know that when we were filling in for that 1 week on morning show in San Francisco in 97.5, that you and I, all these years later, would be castigated on social media and on radio. It's an outrage, man.
Well, I think even when I was on the radio there in San Francisco, I think I just started my Twitter account. I had 2,000 followers trying to get myself blue checky mark verified from the radio station.
I think that's right, because that was the same week that we marched on Twitter to get Tony verified.
Yes.
And you were
Is
like,
that right?
how did you do that?
Yes. while we marched on this ball because the verification process. Now they're not verifying anybody. Like Harry will never get verified. Robin will never get verified. Ryan Rothstein, Couch Guy, Joe C. They'll never be verified. It really doesn't mean anything. Does it? Does it really matter anymore who's verified on Twitter?
No, not really. I guess when I'm responding to messages now, I get so many. I mean, the first thing I see is that blue check mark, right? If it's somebody, some big voice coming at me, I get a lot of these like C-list celebrities coming at me: Tom Arnold, Kathy Griffin, Billy Baldwin. Alec Baldwin came at me the other day, and he blocked me instantly.
Wow!
When I brought up the Jeffrey Epstein flight log. And who else came at me? Ben Stiller shot at me before. I mean, I've had a lot of these, A-listers and a lot of D-listers too. But it's been fun. It's been fun. I actually enjoy. People are always like, Aubrey, how do you handle all this backlash? I'm like, you know what? This kind of replaces all that locker room banter and hijinks that I would have in the locker room all those years. And I just really use my Twitter and my social media presence as that filler. It kind of, I'm allowed to be free and speak my mind. And honestly, a lot of the stuff I do tweet, like you said, it's a lot of it's rooted in sarcasm, but you just can't read that sarcasm on a tweet.
Well, we had Gabe Kapler here for 2 seasons with the Philadelphia Phillies as the manager, and now he's out in San Francisco. And I would love to know how an Aubrey Huff would deal with a Gabe Kapler-led locker room, clubhouse.
I said it on a video I made today on Twitter. I said, man, Gabe, if you cared as much about winning baseball games as you do about your social justice warrior points, you'd be a better MLB manager. It's, I don't know how I would handle it. I know he works real hard to keep his body looking good. I know that. And he's really into like analytics and spin rate and all that nonsense. I was the kind of guy, I'm old school. I walk up to the plate, I see the ball, I hit the ball. I kept it simple. I had heard that he had a meeting with his team yesterday before they went out and kneel for the anthem. And, he had mentioned something along the lines that, don't quote me exactly what he said here, but something about he's disappointed in the way America has handled the police brutality situations and the racism in this country. And I'm like, if I'm on his team, I'm like, dude, can we just play baseball, right? That's all we wanted to do. We're getting paid good money to play baseball. People want to come to games to watch us play baseball, not talk about social justice stances. They get enough of that from CNN, Fox News, their friends and neighbors and coworkers. They don't want to have this at the baseball field too. So pro sports better be careful because they're going to lose millions of fans, get hit. And I mean, in all honesty, we've gone this long without professional sports with this COVID thing, and I've done just fine.
Well, you got it because you got FU money. I don't. That's the difference.
As long as they keep the golf courses open.
Exactly right. That's all Harry cares about. That's all. Hey, Aubrey, it was good talking to you, man. I'm not going to get hammered by all the people who are like, oh, my God, how can you put Aubrey Huff on your show? What's the matter with you, Tony? What's the matter with you, man?
Well, I'm going to go get real hammered then, Tony, while you do that.
Okay. I'm pouring open for you right now. Aubrey Huff. Hey, Aubrey, thanks for popping on, man. Appreciate the time.
All right, brother.
There he is, Aubrey Huff.
So you did a morning show with him?
Yeah, because